If you're thinking about moving to Oceanside right here in San Diego, one of the top questions you likely have is which neighborhood is best for you. Well, today we're hopping into the top 7 neighborhoods right here in Oceanside so you can find the one that best fits your lifestyle. So let's get into it right now. So Oceanside's big. It's a lot of area. There's inland Oceanside, there's coastal Oceanside, and there are a ton of different neighborhoods, and which one you end up in is really gonna depend on your lifestyle and what you are looking for. First neighborhood we're gonna dive into is actually a little bit inland in Oceanside in this northern section up here where you see the greens popping up. This up here is Arrowwood Golf Course. You can see right in the center of the community is Arrowwood Golf Course, and this is going to be one of the best value for master plan communities in Oceanside, where you get a little bit newer construction, but you also get some square footage, you get some space. We'll get into all that in a sec. The biggest standout of this community is it's all built around Arrowwood Golf Course right here. Beautiful golf course. Now, we were out there filming a vlog a few months back, and we're filming over by the driving range over here. They have some awesome bays. So if you're living up here and golf, now you don't even have to like golf to be up here. Just the golf course, just open, just all the green up there is awesome to look at as well. So a lot of the homes, you know, around the outside, around the outskirts here do have beautiful golf course views, but also a beautiful course if you wanted to play. So the clubhouse up here, driving range over here, just imagine getting off work, maybe going to hit a bucket of balls right here. They have these bays, so you got some shot tracers as well. So Arrowwood is a master plan community. So you are definitely gonna have HOAs. Let's just hop into one of the upper streets up here, get our little guy and jump in here. So the typical Arrowwood home, you're sitting about 25 to 3,500 square foot. You're looking about 4 bedroom, 3 bath, mostly 2-story homes, as you can see in here. A lot of the same style, some modern lots, but a little bit more spread out than like a brand new community. This was built in the mid 2000s. So you do have a little bit of space between a lot of these homes. I mean, when I'm talking space, you know, you're not rural, you're not spread out, but just compared to like brand new construction, these would be built right next to each other. So you often have some backyard space up here, temporary stucco style. You can see very uniform, a lot of the same style, but there's a variety of different floor plans in here. Now this is a unique street where you only have one side loaded, but if we go down to like down here, another typical street right in here, you can see you got houses on both sides here. Now the HOA is relatively affordable. You're sitting about $140 per month, and it's gonna get you access to a handful of community amenities right here. You have the clubhouse, you have the pool right here, so you rent out the clubhouse. They do have events and stuff in this little clubhouse. Here is their HOA community where you have October coming up. You have trunk or treat. If you guys haven't done that, just, you know, everybody parks around there. It's a super easy trick-or-treating kind of thing, especially for like little guys, go hang out there. I know a few schools up around here do that as well. And then December, they're having a holiday event. So you do have a few events going on right there as well. But value-wise, you're looking at homes in probably that 1.1 to 1.3 million. Now you're gonna have some of the bigger ones at, you know, this is a 5-bed, 4-bath, 3,300 square foot, about 1.5. As you get around the golf course, these are bigger yards. These are bigger homes, well over 4,000 square feet here. You're looking at 1.7, but right in this central area, you're gonna find a lot of these guys where just shy of 1.23, 3,000 square foot, 4-bed, 3-bath. So you do have some decent size, and you can see in this little picture here, some views in a lot of these homes up here. So if you're moving to Oceanside, you're moving to San Diego, you're like, yeah, I wanna be by the beach. Well, even though this is a little bit of ways out there, you're still only about 23. Last time I ran it, it said 22 minutes to the beach. This is going to the harbor. So harbor is like a mainstay in Oceanside. It's where you get a lot of space out there. Forget we were talking to either clients or friends or somebody I was just talking to who had just gone to the harbor for like the first time. And they're like, that place is awesome. There's a ton of beach compared to a lot of other areas. You got a lot of space out there. Parking can be a little bit of a hassle, but that's kind of with any beach right here in San Diego. Now, if you are going to the airport, and it's gonna give us a little bit longer time. So right around an hour to get down to the airport. So you're not right there. You do have a little bit of a trek. Once you get towards the coast, it's gonna be a little bit better, but it is a bit ways out there. And one other thing about Arrowwood is you're gonna be going to Bonsall School District. So there's one of the schools right down here at the southern portion of the neighborhood, and it's only covering like this little section of Oceanside. It kind of goes out a little bit. So even though you're in Oceanside, it does not cover that. And we're gonna show you a few other areas as well that do feed into different areas, different school districts that aren't quite Oceanside, so stay tuned for that. But if you want specific schools and you are searching for a specific, I want to go to this school, I've looked it up, I want my kid to go there, hit us up. We can find those perfect neighborhoods for you that do feed to the schools that you're looking for. So heading from Arrowwood, we're going coastal. If you're looking for that beach vibe, you're like, I'm moving to California, I'm moving to San Diego, I want that beach vibe, this is gonna be your spot. South Oceanside. But all this area is like, some of it is walkable, obviously, if you go Coast Highway, but once you get back in this little section here, it's gonna be a little bit more e-bikeable. So my sister lives up in this neighborhood. Her kids are e-biking to the beach, going down surf, go to Buccaneer Beach here. Now, if you're living up here, a lot of the cool restaurants and places to go out, date nights, all that kind of stuff, it's gonna be up and down South Coast Highway, going all the way up until you get to almost the pier up here in Oceanside. So there's been a ton happening right here in this section of Oceanside over these past 10 years or so. Actually, I was just talking with my business partner, Cassidy, who you see on this channel a bunch, but he was mentioning a few new places that are coming up to Oceanside. And he's like, is Oceanside gonna be the next Encinitas? Because a lot of spots, restaurants and whatnot that are in Encinitas right now are coming up to Oceanside. They're expanding there as well. So we're gonna cover that on our podcast this week. But South O is just that typical beach style community where you have great community. A lot of these people who have lived here for a long time, grew up in Oceanside, all that kind of stuff. I mean, California Street, who doesn't want to live on California Street? But let's just hop into this area and give you the full rundown. As we're cruising down the street, this is typically what you're gonna see here. A lot of single story homes, 12 to 1800 square foot. Now, over time, a lot of people have built on these homes. So you will find a handful of 2 stories or like something like this with a nice big addition onto the back. That's one of the huge benefits about living right down here. This is what my sister did too, living in this area, built an ADU in the back. So if we go to the top view, you can see a lot of these yards are decent sized lots. So you're gonna have a lot of room to build an ADU, to if you just want to add additions, that kind of stuff. This is where you're gonna be able to do a lot of that. Now you're gonna find some of the original kind of smaller homes with that single car garage, maybe looking at 2 bedroom, 1 bath, just shy of like 900 square foot. That's how a lot of the original ones were. Then you're gonna find some brand new remodeled ones like this one up here with a rooftop deck. So there's a good mix. I would say the majority are gonna be this style. Single story homes where you do have room for additions. Now you saw that picture earlier with it was a little bit overcast. Sometimes you're getting closer to the coast, it's gonna get a little bit overcast. Now, whatever day this is, it was gorgeous. You do get a lot of gorgeous days, but we're only a few minutes from the beach and you're a little bit closer to the freeway. So if you are going down, if you do have to commute to downtown for any reason, or you gotta fly out or anything like that, you're not gonna be too far. So let's put a pin in there. We're gonna go to the San Diego International Airport. See, much quicker than living out in Arrowwood. You're looking about 36 minutes to downtown. So not a ton on the market right now. South O is a decent sized neighborhood right here where it goes all the way to the southern portion of Oceanside. Right over here is Carlsbad. You have the 5 freeway. So everything here is west of the 5. If you're looking for a west of the 5 home, this is a good spot. Now, this is a 3-bed, 2-bath, obviously a bit more remodeled. This is way bigger than the originals at 23, almost 2,400 square foot, looking at $1.9 million. If you look at this one right here, this is closer to the coast. So the price, as you get closer to the coast, price point's definitely gonna be a little bit less than this asking price of 1.5, where you're looking at 2-bed, 1-bath, just over 800 square foot. But you can see over in this picture here, just a nice big yard as well. So anyways, as you get close to the coast, yeah, you have big $8-10 million properties. But back here is where you're gonna find a bulk of kind of this style property popping up, where you can get original with a ton of room to improve. And from South O, like I said, stretch right here, Coast Highway is where you're seeing a lot of action happen. So a lot of these places have popped up over the past few years. Best Pizza and Beer is a local beer spot. You have the DAV, that's been here forever. So this is like the vibe that's been here for a long time. A lot of these older strip mall styles. Now we're seeing new places come in. We're seeing new restaurants. We're seeing some new condos down here. And Oceanside, longtime Oceanside residents, kind of not digging the growth, where you have South O Brewing, delicious beer spot, plus Vigilante Coffee right next door to each other. So a lot of people who have lived here forever don't necessarily like all the growth, especially right around the beaches where they're seeing the most growth, right down in this section over here, where it used to be big parking lots. It used to be easy access. Now you can see these big hotels. Let me see if I could drop in here just to show you guys real quick. This is all new within the last handful of years, where there was none of this over here. This was a parking lot. This was a parking lot. So over these past few years, yeah, it's been a lot of growth. And with that comes more tourism. With that comes more people. It gets busier. Your local spots get kind of crowded. But obviously it started, and I think we will continue to see that as Oceanside does continue to grow over these next few years. And pretty soon we're gonna hop into one of the top neighborhoods that a lot of people are digging for value, for a central location. And one of the first people who ever reached out on our YouTube channel about 5 years ago ended up purchasing a home in this area, and they're really digging it. That whole vibe where you still get the beach vibe, but you're not paying that coastal price tag. But the next neighborhood, before we get there, if you want that classic charm of Oceanside, you still kind of want that old school feel where you're not in all this build out over here. You want some space, you want some character, and you still want to be somewhat coastal. Fire Mountain right here is going to be your go-to spot. It's set up on a hill, so you get views, you get a beautiful coastal breeze, but you do have some of the most custom homes right here in this section of Oceanside. Now the typical home in here, there's really no typical home. You're gonna find an eclectic mix, but just so you have kind of a baseline, you're looking about 1,800 to 2,800 square foot home with these bigger lots, so a lot of ADU potential. Like you even have a development property for sale right there. So you do still have some lots up here. 3 to 4 bedroom, 2 to 3 bath is typical. You're gonna find some bigger 3,500 square foot places, but you're gonna get a mix of like ranch style homes, smaller ranch style homes. And even though we're not filming, if you guys have seen our vlogs, it's always trash day. I guess it follows us to here as well. But you get some 2-story homes, some more, single story homes up there. And up here, a bonus, just like the South O neighborhood, is there's no HOA. So if you are looking to avoid an HOA, maybe you got some RVs right here, or you need some space, or you kind of want to do something funky with your house, this might be the spot for you. Now lots in here, you're looking like 8 to 12,000 square foot. So nice big size. When you compare that to the next neighborhood, it's going to be much bigger than that. So you do have some room on your own property as well. And then as we spin around, obviously, you can't really tell up here, but we'll throw in some drone footage where you're looking back at the coast. It's not a huge mountain, it's not a huge hill, but some of these up here are gonna have views looking down the hill here. And not only that, you do have access to a quick shot down to the coast highway, like we mentioned, but you're kind of out of the way, so you're not getting kind of that traffic that, South Coast Highway definitely gets busy. They're doing some remodeling, they're doing some infrastructure changes to help make it a little more bike friendly, to help with some of the congestion, but it's still kind of a mess, especially you get off the 78 freeway, it just ends right there on Vista Way, go down Coast Highway, and during certain times of the day, it gets super packed. So Fire Mountain, you're off the beaten path, you don't deal with much of that. It's a lot of these side roads up here. Oceanside Boulevard to the north, you have the 78, and then you have the 5 freeway. So you do have access down to the coast pretty easy. And if you're going shopping, here's one of the main shopping centers right down to the south here, where you have your Trader Joe's, you have your Winco, you have your Target, you have all that stuff right here. It's pretty big. Right across the 78 over here is a big mall as well. The shops at Carlsbad. So right south of the 78 freeway, that's when you get into Carlsbad, but a bunch of the big box, Cheesecake Factory, you get 24-hour fitness, all that kind of stuff in there. But that's all quick shot. You just go down the El Camino Real, cross the freeway, and you are right there. Now it doesn't have a golf course right here like Arrowwood, but Goat Hill right here is an awesome, fun little golf course. In between a big golf course and an executive golf course, there's some super fun holes in there. So anyways, that's right there as a quick little amenity. And then obviously the beaches and all that stuff. And if you wanted to venture, maybe if you didn't want to go up to the harbor, maybe you wanted to go down to Carlsbad Village, go, do a little date night down there, go check that out, go check out Campfire, go check out some of these spots, Pizza Port, one of the OGs, maybe go to the farmer's market down here, as opposed to the Thursday Sunset Market up in Oceanside. You got that too, because you're on the southern portion, so you could go pretty much anywhere pretty quick. So looking at some current price points right here, 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,600 square foot, just shy of 1.4. You have a bigger 5-bed, 3-bath, looks like a little bit newer home, 2,400 square foot for closer to 2. Down the hill, you have even bigger homes, 3,500 square foot for 3. And then you have a little $1.5 million, not little, almost 2,000 square foot. So price range in here varies. Once you get to some of those custom homes, that's where you're gonna get these bigger price points. Once you get closer to the coast, this looks like a newer development home as well, 2.4. So there's gonna be some options in here for custom, for old school. You got a different variety right here in this section of Oceanside. Now we're heading inland a little bit to one of the most popular neighborhoods because it has great price points, it's central, and it's a well-established master plan community. It's where we see Ivy Ranch, Rancho del Oro. Now those are two separate communities, but they're in the same region. They're just different styles. They were kind of built around the same time. Now, first off, I just want to show you just to the coast. Let's just go down to the harbor as well. So you compare where it was in previous ones. You're looking at 17 minutes. You get a little bit of traffic on the 76. Now the 76 is a highway. So it's, 55, 65 speed limit, but you do have stoplights in here. So that's probably some of the yellows you're seeing right there. But anyways, not too far from there. And a few other points. Right up to 76 is where you're gonna have a lot of the infrastructure as far as big box stores. Now, living in Rancho del Oro, you could go north to that, or you could go south to some of the spots down there. So you have two options living right there. But up here, you do have a Sprouts, you do have a Target, you do have Lowe's, there's a Home Depot up that way as well. There's a Home Depot down to the south as well. But one of the main shopping centers is going to be right here off Oceanside Boulevard. And I just want to bring it up because it's got one of my favorite spots in here. It's Upper Crust Pizza right here. Now, pizza lovers, East Coasters, you guys are gonna be like, I don't know about that, but we grew up having birthday parties here. We grew up going to the spot, the thicker pizza, a lot of sauce, a lot of that kind of stuff. But I dig it. My sister's living in Oceanside. If she was on here, she'd be like, yeah, that's the best. So anyways, I just like it. You guys don't have to, but go check it out. Go support Upper Crust Pizza. But you have a few other things in here where you got, your Albertsons, that kind of stuff, just the main staples over here. And right over here is another little spot to check out, the Draft Restaurant and Sports Bar. I don't know if it's actually an Eagles bar, but I went there with my buddy who's an Eagles fan. So, sports bar, bunch of TVs and stuff in there. But you're gonna find a bunch of local spots in here as well. All right, jumping into the typical neighborhood right here. Well, first off, I wanna point out that you're gonna find a lot of these little pocket parks. So within this community, there's a bunch of different neighborhoods within the bigger HOA of Rancho del Oro, villages and that kind of stuff. So a bunch of different ones, but you're gonna find some of these amenities where you get little pocket parks. But going through, you can see it's a very uniform community where you have kind of this similar style, similar paint colors, all that kind of stuff. But as far as going through here, you're gonna find about 1,600 to 2,400 square foot homes. You're looking at 3 to 4 bed, 2 to 3 baths, and like you just saw, a mix of single story and 2-story homes going on. Everywhere here is going to have 2-car garage. I think most places we're covering have some sort of garage. Even South though, it has usually a single car garage, so smaller little garages. But yeah, check this out. It's just like your typical HOA community right here, built in the late 80s, early 90s, some of that Mediterranean style, a bunch of the tile roofs and whatnot. HOAs in here are relatively affordable, where you're looking about $140, give or take. It's a little bit more than that, I think, right now, but another little pocket park here. So in a minute, I'm gonna tell you something really important about this area. But let's check out price points. And why a lot of people do gravitate towards this area is because it is still somewhat affordable for being somewhat coastal, where you're 15, 20 minutes from the beach. You're also centrally located. You're in Oceanside right here. But let's just check out some of these homes. This is a 5-bed, 3-bath, so a bigger home for this area. We're looking at about just over $1 million. As we go south here, this is kind of where we just were on the map. You're looking about 3-bed, 3-bath, 1,700 square foot for $940. This one's a single story, a little bit smaller home, 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,200 square foot, where you're looking about $800,000. So big variety of price points, but all well with sub-$1 million mark as you are cruising around here. Here's some townhomes and stuff as well. So here is where it gets important. If you have kids and you want a specific school, you want a specific school district, this area is kind of split into two. So basic dividing line, you can see it cuts up a little bit here, but just call it College Boulevard, and going up all the way to the 76, all the way up here. This is going to be Oceanside Unified School District. So all this area here, South O, where we covered Fire Mountain, we mentioned up to the north where it does feed into right here into Arrowwood. That's actually Bonsall School District. But if you're on the west side, you're going to be feeding to Oceanside School District. Now, once you get to the right side, you're gonna be going to the Vista School District. So here's the dividing line right here, and you can see Vista on this side, Oceanside on this side. So if you want one or the other, it's really important to know which feed into which and where those lines are and what school your kids are going to be going to. So if you want to dive in and you have a specific area that you want or a specific school, got to reach out and let's start that conversation, figure out which area is going to work best for you. Now, if you want Oceanside, you want semi-rural, you want kind of that equestrian feel, this next neighborhood is for you. And it's all surrounding this area right here where it says Guacome. Now, I'm gonna get some comments, which I always do. They're gonna say you said that wrong, but that's how I say it, Guacome. So anyways, this area right out here is a smaller area called Jeffrey's Ranch. Now, Jeffrey's Ranch is gonna have that equestrian feel as we jump into the streets. I just wanna show you kind of going through the streets where they do have it, like these little white line picket fences with these larger trails. You can kind of see it right here. But as we're going down, it was built out to accommodate horses. So a lot of these side streets, they don't have sidewalks and such. If you want walkable neighborhoods, Rancho de Oro is all sidewalks. So if you're pushing the kids around in strollers, all that, super easy. Here, you just have these little dirt paths. So not crazy hard, but also a little bit more difficult. But this is kind of like that bigger properties, ranch style homes. You could see these properties right here. So huge front yard, big backyard. Some of the houses are bigger, some not so big, but this is a very unique area right here in Oceanside. Now, once you get on this section over here, you're right near the 76. So as you get closer to that, expect some sound, except, you know, it's like I said, it's a highway. So you're gonna definitely get some of that going through there. Let's just jump into Trotting Horse Road. Now, some of the houses, like a little bit bigger, there's certain areas that have that kind of, you know, built out master plan community feel where they're a little bit more similar, but there are some that are a lot more unique, a lot more custom, a lot more character, but typical home. There's no super typical home, but just to give you a ballpark, we're looking like 2,000 to 3,000 square foot, 3 to 5 bed, 2 to 3 bathroom. You're looking at mostly single story. Now, you did see a couple of those 2-story, this one right here, pop up in here, but I'm gonna hop into Wagon Wheel, which is a little bit more of the style that I wanted to show you, where you have some of these older homes here, but a lot of 2 to 3 car garages, bigger driveways, bigger yards. So if you got RVs, boats, trailers, all that kind of stuff, super easy to park those out here. Now, a lot of the homes out here are older, so they're not a ton of brand new homes out here, but you also get some space, 1/4 acre lots, 1/2 acre lots, a little bit of space for pools. You got ADUs, stables, quiet, semi-rural out here. So it's a very unique area right here in Oceanside. And now hopping out here, you're looking $1 million, 4 bed, 2 bath, just shy of 2,000 square foot, 1.175, 2,500 square foot, a little 2 bed, 2 bath, 1,200 square foot. That looks like a little townhouse condo kind of thing, as well as that one. But once you get into the houses over here, 5 bed, 3 bath, 3,000 square foot. So a variety of prices in this little section and different conditions, different styles of homes. So it's pretty cool out there. And there's a community foundation out there working to kind of keep that vibe out there. And it's cool. They put on, I'll show you some events in a sec that they put on here, but they want to revitalize and maintain the charm of Jeffrey Ranch as an equestrian friendly coastal community through the Trails Project. They want to build community. They want to champion local habitats. And right at a local park, super recently, they did have a little movie night in the park. So anyways, there are some community events, even in these smaller sections of Oceanside. Next up might be one of the best retirement communities in all of North County, San Diego. And it's south of the 78 freeway right here. But before we get to that one, I want to let you know at the end, we're doing 2 honorable mentions as well. Some smaller, little known neighborhoods right here in Oceanside. So stay tuned for that. But right here, you can see it popping up on the map. Ocean Hills. Ocean Hills is a 55+ community. It has all surrounding this golf course, and there's a good number of homes in there, but typical home. Now, it's a gated community first off. So there's the main gate, there's a locals gate to get in and out over here. So if you want that security, you want that gated community, this is gonna be your go-to. 24 hours up there. My mother-in-law lives in here. And even though we go there quite a bit, they're checking your ID every time. They give you a little pass every time. So it's very regulated as far as getting in and out. So it's pretty nice on that front. But you also have some great amenities in here. So it's gated, so we won't be able to go into street view, but you can see the golf course in the middle here. Now it's been renovated, or it's been in the renovation phase for quite some time. So I was chatting with somebody out there and they said it is still being renovated. It's been a few years. So they've opened up parts of it, but the whole course is still being worked on a little bit. But typical home in here, you're looking about 1,600 to 2,200 square foot. 2 to 3 beds, 2 to 3 baths. And in here, it's super golf cart friendly. So you will see golf carts cruising around here at all times during the day. Super low speed limit as well. So they keep a close eye on that. So just be aware if you're in here. One con is the HOA. HOA is not necessarily the HOA, but the price of the HOA. It's like over $500 a month. I think it might be even closer to $600 right now. But you get access to the golf. Even if you don't golf, you're paying for that. So if you just want to be in here, you want to be in this community, you're still going to be paying that even if you don't use that. But they have this awesome community center. Like even in here, like this little section over here, there's like a full-on auditorium where they have shows and stuff. So it's like not this little tiny thing. It's pretty good size. Obviously pickleball courts, tennis courts. Looks like they added some more pickleball courts on this side, shuffleboard, bocce ball, pool. Now, if you do have family and stuff, they can come and visit. There's certain pool hours for the youngsters. So like if we bring our little guys in there, I think it was like, it might change, so don't quote me on this, but it was like 10 to 2. The owner has to be there. So they're very strict on that as well. They're trying to keep it in that vibe of, you know, retirement community. But this clubhouse is like 27,000 square foot. They have a huge pool right here. They have a ton of clubs. They have bocce clubs. They have golf clubs. They have not golf clubs, but like, you know, men's league, all that kind of stuff. So it's an active community and there is always something to do in here. So this area is perfect if you are retired, 55 plus, and you want to live that kind of retirement life right here in Oceanside. All right, now this next community is one of the newest communities in Oceanside, and it is just to the north of Oceanside, kind of right by Arrowwood, right where we started. But instead of the Bonsall School District, this one does feed into the Oceanside School District, and it's right here popping up on North River Roads. It's called North River Farm. So this is brand new construction. I'm gonna hop in and show you what the homes are all about, price points and all that. But we were out here showing some clients the other day, and it is so much more built out than this. They have their little sales office, but most of this is built out. Now they're building it in phases and selling it in phases. So like the community center is not built, I think, to the end of this year. There's some commercial and retail space that they had somebody lined up for that is not gonna be going there anymore, like a little farmer's market, but I'm sure they will fill that in due time. But this whole area is brand new construction, and the price points might surprise you for brand new construction right here in San Diego. Now, if you guys are looking at new construction, before you even reach out, hit us up, because we got some insight into this area and we could do the tour around, make sure you're well taken care of when we do go in there. But we like to meet our clients out there the first time, get all signed up, and make sure we are dialed in, because there's some things that you might need to know as you are looking even at brand new construction right here in San Diego. But we'll jump into the amenities here in a sec, because they actually look pretty awesome. But let's look at these price points right here. So these are all the homes. There's 5 different phases, and they all had M's. And we were in there with the sales manager. She was like trying to remember them all. She's like, I don't know why they named them Mahogany, Monterey. Like everything kind of sounds similar, and then Cypress. So anyways, super cool homes. You can see the styles here. There's a few different elevations as far as like craftsmen, as far as, you know, just kind of the different looks from the outside of the home. But just looking at a few of these. So look at this guy here, just shy of $1 million, 3 bed, 3 bath, 2,200 square foot. Now when you get out here to the 5 bed, 4 bath, 4.5 bath, 4,000 square foot, you're still under 1.5. Now here's one of the things when you're looking at these price points, these are like the entry price points. Then you go in and you figure out, okay, do I want just the standard upgrades, which we were asking, okay, we were going through these model homes. They didn't have, they were kind of built out, no flooring. They still had a lot of work to do. It was definitely an active construction zone. But we were asking with our clients, we were talking with the sales manager, what kind of upgrades are in here and what is the standard upgrade? So the standard upgrade is like carpet throughout the house, like just that super simple carpet. So you're not getting like LVP floors, you're not getting wood floors, you're not getting even like tile backsplashes. All the yards are going to be, once they do sell, are going to be completely undone. So you're going to need to landscape the whole thing. So when you're looking at these price points and figuring out budgets and stuff, you got to know, okay, well, how much is this stuff going to cost? How much upgrades do I actually want? And we have a client, another client looking up in Carlsbad at some new construction, and even just with, you know, backsplashes and premium flooring and premium appliances and all that kind of stuff. We're looking at like well over $100,000 in upgrades, and that was a townhome, so a little bit smaller than a lot of these. So just be aware as you're going out there, but we can help guide you through all that, make sure you are well taken care of through the whole process. So like I said, the houses are beautiful, they're nice, they're obviously brand new, which is great. If you want brand new construction, this is some of the only spots where you're gonna find this sort of square footage and space right here in Oceanside. But the amenities here are gonna be awesome as well. They're kind of branding it like agri-hood. So there's one over in Encinitas called Fox Point Farms, which is, it's got like a 5-acre farm on there. They have a little market. So they're trying to build this out to be similar to that. Like I said, the little market didn't go through on this one, but they are having a ton of great amenities with the swimming pool, with the clubhouse. They're gonna have a little park in there. They're gonna have some playgrounds. They're gonna have a fitness center, pickleball courts. I mean, pickleball is so huge right now. Just be aware too, if you're by pickleball courts, sometimes those do get a little loud. So if you're living like right here, you're gonna hear pickleball all day. Could get a little annoying. We had one client who's like, I don't wanna be near a pickleball court. I wanna make sure I'm super far away. So we found him that. But dog park, there's gonna be some trails throughout here. So there's gonna be a lot of stuff in here. And once it's all built out, like if you go in now, yeah, it's gonna be a construction zone. There's going to be all that kind of stuff going on. But over these next few years, as they finish out all these phases and stuff, as they get everything built out, it's gonna be a beautiful community and all squared away. But yeah, it's gonna be a construction zone for the foreseeable future. Now, if you wanna be a little bit closer to the coast, you're all right with the townhome and you still want that newer-ish construction, not brand new, not 2025, but some of this area that I'm gonna show you was built in kind of 2017 to 2019. And then there's the original phase, which was like 2007-ish, but it is in that Rancho del Oro / Ivy Ranch area. So Ivy Ranch is right across from Ivy Ranch Elementary School. So if you got kids, boom, you're right there. It is St. Cloud right here. So it's a gated community of townhomes right here. And we were filming in there not too long ago. I guess it was last year when we did one of our Oceanside vlogs. And I was like, I think it'd just be cool to show it, to bring it up on one of the best neighborhoods, because it's a smaller neighborhood, but it's once again centrally located. It's gonna be more affordable, but also on the newer side compared to other areas of Rancho del Oro and Ivy Ranch. But got this great community center with a nice big pool. You saw the other little park over here in this little section as well. And we can't zoom in because like I said, so it's gated right here. But if you want gated community, you kind of want that sort of security, this is a great little area where you're looking at 1,300 to 1,900 square foot homes, townhomes, like I mentioned, 2 to 3 bedroom, 2 to 3 bath. All of them are gonna be multi-level townhomes / condos. You do have attached 2-car garages, which a lot of these newer communities do have, where you do have a 2-car garage, which is nice. So even though you have your townhome and there's not a ton of parking in here, you got a little bit of guest parking here and here, but you do have your own little garage as well. So like I said, some were built 2006 to 2008. The remainder, and on this side, were built in 2017 and 2019. HOA fees are a little bit higher, $350 to $450 a month or so, but let's check out some price points in here. And the new phases are mixed in here as well. So this one was $770, 3-bed, 3-bath, 1,500 square foot. You have just shy of $900 for a little bit larger, 2-bed, 3-bath. So if you got, a family, you might need that 3-bedroom, but there's plenty of those in here too. Just shy of $800. Down to the south over here, $830,000. So you do have a few options, and like I said, it is definitely a bonus one if you want to be close to schools, you want to be centrally located right here in Oceanside, where you do have that gated community. This is going to be your go-to. Now we're getting into the hidden gem neighborhood. It's right near Fire Mountain, except it's its own little spot. So Fire Mountain here, right to the north, you see Loma Alta popping up. So once again, still somewhat coastal, still a little bit off the beaten path. Now, as you're going in, you're gonna be going down like Oceanside Boulevard, and this is all like commercial, industrial, so like repair shops, you got truck rentals. There's actually, I think I went to this cafe the other day. Yeah, I went to that. We had a soccer tournament up here. Oh, let me show you that real quick. There's a soccer, if you got kids, you're gonna definitely end up here at the sports complex. So, and then Front Wave Arena. So I forgot to mention this too, is right here. So that's a newer arena where the soccer's play, but they also have concerts there and stuff. So great amenity to have right in the center of Oceanside. But this whole section is like all industrial. So as you're cruising up Oceanside Boulevard, you're like, I don't know, it looks kind of ugly. But as you start getting up, it's up on a hill here, especially going towards like Buddy Todd Park right here, you're gonna get into Loma Alta. So as you come up right near Buddy Todd Park, you see historic Loma Alta. And up here, you're looking at a variety of different homes, kind of like some of those other areas where you have some of these original ranch style homes. You get some of these 2-story homes, but typical you're looking at 12 to 2,000 square foot, 2 to 4 bed, 1 to 2 bathrooms, mostly single story. And you're gonna find some cottages, some ranch homes with some remodels, and also some new infill builds. But a lot of them are gonna have, you know, those 2-car garages, but a lot of these homes were like 60s and 70s. Benefit here, no HOA, right near the park. You do have, like I said, no main roads up here, so you got spots to park your RV. I just love these old ranch style homes where you do have some space, no landscaping here, but as we're going through, there's a lot of different, you know, styles of homes. This is like obviously a little bit bigger style home. They got plenty of room for a pool in the backyard over here. Here's a larger ranch style home. Let's go check this guy out over here, where you have garage, you got plenty of parking, you do have the pool in the back. So anyways, that's a lot of this style, and it's just a little hidden gem location wise. Like I said, you're right here. Some of these, like, well, you're kind of like Fire Mountain where you're up a little bit. So you're gonna get some views. Some of these are gonna be, you can see it's tiered right here, like looking a little bit further east, but you do have some of those coastal breezes here still. So you got that central Oceanside location. You're just inland from Coast Highway in downtown, close to parks, close to the beach. You are close to the freeway as well. It's just a quick shot going down. Now let's get north to south, so it's a little easier. You can go down Mission, hop on, you go down Oceanside Boulevard and hop on. And it's a mix of longtime locals. You get some new buyers who have come in and remodeled homes. But I think if you're looking at Oceanside, you might want to keep this one on the list. So now you know the best neighborhoods in Oceanside, but be sure to check out that next video popping up, which is the pros and cons of living in Oceanside, to give you an even better idea if this is the best place for you.